there's a lot of life lessons that we can learn through sports, and one of the lessons that I've never forgot, I learned through rodeo, and it was when I started riding bulls. And I needed to be able to get on some practice bulls and start and learn how to ride, but there was no place to practice, and so I was working at the sale barn at West Plains, and one of the cowboys that pen cattle back there with me, Billy Wells. Billy, if you ever see this, I'm so sorry for all I put you through, man. Anyway, I asked Billy, I said, would you help me? And he agreed, and we finally got one of the cattle buyers to give us a couple of head, to loan me a couple of head, and all we could get was two big old fat Hereford heifers, but beggars can't be choosers. And so we loaded them up, and hauled them to the arena. And Billy is giving me all these instructions, that these cowboys do. I mean, stick your chest out and tuck your chin and turn your toes out and get your elbow in and lift and all this stuff. Well, have you ever noticed how that a lot of times men's conversations and women's conversations, they don't communication, they don't gel. And we were on two different, and it was like, I'm sitting on this big old fat heifer, and I'm just wanting it. Okay, I'm waiting for a feeling. It's gonna feel right, Well, let me tell you, ain't nothing about this gonna feel right. You're gonna have to learn. And he was telling me all this stuff, and I was like, I wasn't getting it. It's like, how in the world is sticking your chest. What does sticking your chest out mean? I mean, sticking my boobs out is going to help me ride this steer, this heifer and whatever. It's like, it wasn't gelling. And I just kept rolling off like a watermelon off a rail fence, like falling off like a fat woman. It was awful. And he was getting frustrated, and I was getting frustrated. And we run them back in the chutes again. It's like the third time. I mean, I'm getting, it's pitiful. I really wasn't getting tired because I wasn't doing enough. And anyway, all of a sudden, I'm asking the Lord to help me. What is He saying? And all of a sudden, the light bulb went off, and I understood. That there's this little imaginary box that's out over your rope and over the shoulders of the bull or whatever. And if you come back and you try to stay in that box, and when you get thrown out and pushed out, you come back to that position, and you come back to that position, you can ride as long as you keep coming back to that correct position. And it clicked, and I got off my pockets and got up on my inseam and I positioned myself for action, okay? Instead of sitting there on my pockets like a lump of taters and waiting for the gate to open, and then I'm going to act. Well, dear Lord, honey, it's already too late. You are gone. And so what was so impossible feeling for me 5 minutes before became incredibly easy. That is what correct positioning does for us in life. Have you ever noticed how that some people can lose it over the simplest things? I mean, I'm like, really? You're going off the charts over that? You're losing it over that? Wow. Ha, it's amazing. Why? Well, because their life is so far out of position, they can't handle the slightest thing. It just puts them over the edge. Their life is out of position. Their mind is out of position. Their spirit, everything about them is out of whack. Between them and God, the Creator, where they're supposed to be, everything's, and but when we learn how to get in correct position, life becomes easier. Even when you're going through the storms, you can get pulled out of that position. But when you know how to come back to that correct position, you may not know what's going on, but God will take you through that storm, and you'll come out on top. You'll come out victorious as long as you're hooked up correctly to Him and listening to your positioning. And if somebody would have been there that day that we was practicing and praying over me, Lord, help her to stay on. You know what? They could have prayed till the cows came home green and purple and hair-lipped. And until I changed my body positioning, I wasn't going to ride that heifer. You couldn't pray something over somebody that takes a change. And that's the way we are in life. A lot of people want prayer slapped on them to fix their life, and you can't pray a right thing over them until they shift themselves and get in correct position. So how do you do that? Well, it's a lifelong journey. It's a journey, and it's something we have to learn. But it's not religion. It's basically this. Your walk is going to start like this. You open yourself up to the Lord and you say, I want to know you. I want to hear your voice. I want to get right positioned with you. I want to get my heart right with you. And then I want to hear how to get my life right with you. I want to do what you say instead of just being out here doing my own thing, asking God to bless it. It's not going to work. Get in right position, and suddenly life gets easier. And what was impossible before becomes a joyful journey, even through the hard times. This is Crystal Lyons, another Cowgirl Logic.